My name's Eddy. How many of you in the room know what a MOOC is? That's good. How many of you have taken part in a MOOC? And how many of you have enjoyed it? It was interesting how quickly the number of hands went down as you moved across that. What I want to share with you are some first impressions from the MOOC that we ran in October, November. We just moved into an evaluation phase, so some of this is really very early stuff, and I don't even have my hands on all the data yet to be able to give you some detailed information. So what I just hope to do is introduce some early sort of messages that are coming out, or things that I picked up while we're delivering the MOOC that I can share with you. This is about a third of the size as it was last night. I've hidden about 2/3 of it because there are so many things coming out of it that we really need to share. But I decided we just go with this list for now. And there's no chance I'm going to make 7 minutes. So because of that, we'll do the first page, and then I want everybody else to be thinking about those are the headings, and let me know which one you want to focus on first. Because we won't get through all these, but the link will be shared with you, so you'll be able to look at it at your leisure subsequently. And you can keep an eye on it as well over the coming weeks, because this is going to actually morph and grow over the weeks as we move through the evaluation phase. And each of these pages will actually turn into a separate blog post. So if you're interested in it and want to keep an eye on the messages that have been coming out, you'll be able to follow it just by keeping an eye on the link. Okay, so the first bit, there is a link in there in a video for what is a MOOC. For those people who have not come across it before, that's quite interesting. I don't intend to click into any of the links and play any of those things, but just in the context of what a MOOC actually is, would this be constituted as massive? If you think in terms of what Future Learning and Coursera do, and they've got hundreds of thousands of people undertaking their online courses, what we've done isn't actually all that massive, but in our context, in radiotherapy, we're very small, and we're looking at prostate cancer care, so it's a very niche area. So in our context, it was actually huge. But if you look at it in the context of the literature, it doesn't really quantify as massive. Was it open? Yes, it was open access. We didn't preclude anybody from coming onto it. But there's a caveat. Really, we were targeting the key stakeholders in the prostate cancer care pathway. So that's allied health professionals, nurses, doctors, patients, carers, students, educators, etc. So from that point of view, yes, it was open, but there's a caveat. Was it open content? Yes, it was. Creative Commons license. We housed all of the content, all of the interactions within an online workbook, which is there for the participants to take away. They can utilise, recycle, mash up the content as they go. So definitely the content was open, and it was certainly open in terms of being free. Online, clearly, yes, and you could designate it as a course, because it was bounded by time. We did it over 5 weeks, first of which was an orientation week. There was a coherent set of resources and a different theme each week, and a sequence of activities for them to undertake. Although those activities were optional, and it's interesting, and perhaps not surprising when you look at how MOOCs have gone in other areas, that there's a number of people who just log on and just consume the content, and that's fine. As Sue was saying, these people are not lurking, they're listening, and if they want to engage, they'll engage. If they don't, they don't. I've done that when I've been on MOOCs. I've been on about 7 or 8, and I don't think I've completed one of them. But I've dipped in and I've cherry-picked the bits I wanted from them. So yeah, it constitutes a course. I think the key thing for me, though, to bear in mind is there's a lot of talk and a lot of hype about MOOCs, and it's not about MOOCs really. MOOCs are kind of a totem, they're a standard bearer for changes that are happening in the sector in terms of how we utilise online learning, how we do distance learning, and it's about using this as a vehicle to start a debate about where we're going, how we're going to do it. Interesting way to look at it is to think in terms of, in allied health professionals, for example, the departments where I'm based. If you look at all our provision now, undergraduate, postgraduate, the default offer is blended learning. There is no face-to-face as such. Blended is the default, and different subject groups are at various points on the continuum towards the online aspect of that. Our postgraduate offer across the piece in AHP is wholly online. So clearly there's a direction of travel there, but it's about having the conversation. And there's all sorts of acronyms out there, different names for different types of MOOCs, that kind of thing. We're going to get into this arena. Why don't we brand it? Why don't we have something like a shoe? Sheffield Hallam open online course. And that could have a whole myriad of different forms that could take. It could be a single day open online event, it could be a 5-week course, it could be something that runs over the course of a year. You know, there's a whole range of possibilities there. It's something to think about. Where are we going next?
Feedback.
Feedback. Okay. Might not be what you think. In terms of our distance learning provision, feedback is one of the things that we kind of embed and make a review and feedback process part of it. And this is something we very much took to heart in terms of the blog. So in terms of the MOOC, so for example, each week we had a blog which pulled together all the different aspects of the week. It housed some of the discussions and people were able to pose questions, etc. So we used that to capture queries and questions and also feed those back as we went along. Every week on a Friday we had One Word Friday, which was where we asked participants, how's it gone for you? So we get some quick and dirty feedback. This opens. Doesn't seem to want to open. For some reason, I think probably you can make it out there. That's usually on 2 Club Answer Garden, where they just type in one word, how are they feeling about the week, how's it gone for them. If they see a word that's in there that they also agree with, they type that in as well. So you build a good picture as to how it's going. This was from week 4, and it was great to see things like informative, worthwhile. If I'd have shown you week 0, which was the orientation week, where everybody was getting used to the platform because nobody had a clue about PebblePad, never used it before. The boldest word was confusing, which was not surprising, slightly disappointing, but not surprising. But it was interesting to see the tone of those comments change over the course of the 4 weeks. How are we doing?
Last minute.
Last minute. Who's going to choose the last one? Liz, why don't you choose it, seeing as you were one of the people who was one of our key enablers to get this going? Collaboration. Okay, this was absolutely crucial. This was a collaboration between us. It was our first move. Prostate Cancer has not done UK, not done anything like this before. PebblePad's not been used before as a platform for this type of thing. So the collaboration was absolutely crucial. And although we did have some face-to-face meetings and contacts, for the most part we did this online because we wanted to mirror and replicate and see what some of the issues might be in terms of actually having a conversation online. Because unlike most of the MOOCs which I've engaged with, which have been what I would call park and ride, where content is put up there and you maybe get a bit of interaction at the end if you're lucky. This, very much we want it to be all about the conversation because we wanted all these key stakeholders to make recommendations and suggestions about how we can enhance the prostate cancer care pathway for Prostate Cancer UK. So the collaboration was key, not just between us as a HEI, Prostate Cancer UK and PebblePad, but the collaboration was with students, patients, the carers, allied health professionals, nursing doctors. All of those people were stakeholders that we involved in the planning and design and the delivery, and are also involved in the evaluation of it. That takes a bit of organising and pulling together, but it's really powerful in terms of what it can produce.
Can we stop there? Thank you very much, David.